Good morning. Hello, everyone on explore.org. And if you can hear me out in the audience, I'm going to be doing a keeper chat with our penguins for a few minutes. I know it's a little rainy out here. Of course, today we plan an on-mic chat. We get a little bit of rain, but that's okay. My name is Frankie, and I'm an aviculturist here at the Aquarium of the Pacific here in Long Beach, California. Hello, everyone. And for those of you in our audience, I am also doing this chat for our online viewing, so it may sound like I'm talking to multiple people, and that's because I am. Again, my name is Frankie, and I'm an aviculturist. Thanks so much for coming out. This is actually my first on-speaker chat since the pandemic, so you all are here, and you get a little bit of a show. My number one question that I get right now is, where are all the penguins? Well, all the penguins are actually in their burrows, except for Mr. Wally here. I have Wally next to me. His colors are orange, blue, and gray. So if you check out the signs next to the exhibit, you can actually figure out who is who. We do have 21 Magellanic penguins in our colony and 9 burrows and nest boxes here on Habitat and 2 burrows behind the scenes. So we've got a lot of different places for our penguins right now to make sure they can have the best possible breeding season. Hi. I'm not sure if anyone else is going to come out, but I do have Wally here with me. Wally is 4 years old. He hatched in 2018 here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. Now, the big thing that we're going to be talking about today is breeding season. We actually have an online community who's asked a bunch of questions, so it may sound like I'm gearing these questions to the internet, and that's because I am, but I will gladly come out and answer any questions that you all may have for me after this chat. Now, first and foremost, we have been getting the question, who is dating who? So there's a little bit of penguin drama, and everyone likes to know a little bit about what's going on. And first and foremost, the big question is, where's Roxy? Roxy is one of our Brazilian rescues who has been paired up with Floyd for about 10 years now. Floyd and Roxy have raised 7 chicks here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, including Wally here. But Floyd's genetics are very well represented within all zoos and aquariums. And well, that means that we had to switch things up this particular season. And we put a lot of thought into it, and we actually put Roxy with Fisher. They are behind the scenes doing really, really well. They've taken to each other. Oh, Wally's doing a lot of chatting right now. He's got a lot to say apparently. But Fisher and Roxy are behind the scenes in hopes of a future pairing. So what that means is that they have their own kennel and, burrow. They are kennels on the other side of these holes. They have their own burrow space with their own pool area where they can swim and do their thing and hopefully like each other. And they are. Fisher has built a lovely nest for Roxy, and they are doing all the protecting that they can. And let me tell you, for those of you who don't know Roxy, Roxy is a very feisty lady. She is one of our rescued birds who came to us from the wild when she was 1 year old, and she was deemed non-releasable. I gotta take my glasses off. It's a little rainy. Oh, we've got some friends here, Patsy and Gats, who actually are the topic of the next conversation. For those of you just joining, my name is Frankie. I'm an aviculturist. Thank you to those of you online as well. I am one of our penguin keepers here at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, California. And I just went over a little bit about one of our pairs, Roxy and Fisher. And some of you online may know that Floyd is now with Cleo, the drama, and Patsy and Gats are a pair. And a lot of times people wonder, why are they coming in and out as they want? Sometimes they're together, sometimes they're alone. Well, at the beginning of this breeding season, these birds were not taking to each other. But just like last season, Gats got it together at the very last minute, and he is now protecting Miss Patsy. So right in front of me right now, I have Wally, Gats, and Patsy. And if you care to learn a little bit about which bird is which, on the side of the habitat, we've got some color-coded bead bands, so you can kind of learn what their names are and who you see. So I have Wally, Gats, and Patsy. So this year you may have noticed that Patsy was with Floyd for a little bit there, and then we released Robbie and Cleo. So Robbie and Cleo were behind the scenes because we were trying to create that pair, but after doing some wellness checks and ensuring that they had the best possible scenario, they didn't. They were unhappy, so that's why one day you saw all of the fighting. So there's a lot of fun that goes in with our penguin breeding season. For the most part, these birds do pair up and they stay together for quite some time. And I know this is a jumbled mess for our audience who may not be fully following the penguin drama that is breeding season and pairing up, but we do have our online audience on explore.org where you all are able to tune in and view 24/7. And there's a lot of information on there as well. So this year we were able to, we attempted Robbie and Cleo behind the scenes, which is now where Gats and Patsy are living. Robbie very clearly came back to his old burrow. Admiral and Robbie had to duke it out for a few days, but now everything seems settled, and I was able to open the forbidden burrow. So we have had a lot of different territorial disputes here in our habitat. There's a lot that goes on between penguins and their territory. They are very aggressive, and they make sure that they can protect their space. So just yesterday, if you were tuning in on explore.org, you know that we opened that burrow up. And of course, Skipper and Jade went in the burrow. What am I going to do here? All I care at this point is that our penguins seem calm and they are protecting their spaces. And Wally is still a little bit of a free, looking around, figuring out if he's interested in any burrows. Now, I do have some questions that I've been given online. I just wanted to make sure I could address my audience that's here IRL. Hi. The penguins are going to walk in and out as they please. You got to stay dry. All right, so some of the questions that I have here, I might have answered, but I'm just going to read through them. It looks like you're planning for chicks this year. If so, which pairs have been approved to have chicks? Well, we are planning to hopefully have chicks again in the future, but what we have to do is make sure that our pairs like each other. So we have spent this year, we attempted Cleo and Robbie. That didn't work out as perfectly as we would have liked, but again, it's the animals' welfare and needs that matter first. So Cleo and Robbie are actually a high desirable pair. They are listed as a 1 in the species survival plan, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And Fisher and Roxy. Those are our 2 pairs that we were attempting to create so that we can move forward as a colony and a collection, not only here at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, but throughout all of our institutions that house Magellanic penguins. Their genetics are incredibly important, and we want to make sure we can keep our population as varied as possible. So right now, here's the rundown. Floyd is making a beautiful nest for Cleo. Drama. Paddles is with Ludwig, Admiral's with Dee, Robbie's with Kate, Skipper's with Jade, Wally is figuring out what he's doing. It's the first time I've seen him kind of go into a burrow. Heidi Anderson, Lily Matson, and Shim and whatever have remained stable. Hi, Wally. Are Roxy and Fisher staying in the recently renovated area behind the gate to the beach, or are they inside the building where the nursery is? That's a great question. Gats and Patsy are actually utilizing that space that's just behind the scenes that we recently renovated, and we were able to, since we were able to safely open all the burrows without too much drama, just a little bit of penguin figuring stuff out, we actually were able to keep the whole space open. You may have seen a towel come up on the beach last night. Yes, whoops. I thought I was keeping things dry, but apparently Matson needed nesting material, which I gave him more. So Patsy and Gats are protecting that burrow that is on that renovated space behind the scenes. And while he's going in and out, I'm not sure if he's going to take to a burrow, but he does have access to a space if he wants one. Patsy and Gats seem to spend time on the beach, although not necessarily together. Where are they staying? They are behind the scenes, and they are a pair. They're not the most clingy pair, but throughout this last year, they have been together at night, and Gats is protecting Patsy in the burrow right now, and it seems like it's happening. It's a good question. Hello, everyone. My name is Frankie. I am one of our penguin keepers or aviculturists here at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach. I'm also doing this chat for an online community, so I might be reintroducing myself, but welcome. We are in our breeding season. I have Wally in front of me, and since we're in breeding season, that is the reason why no other penguin is out. We have 21 birds here in our colony, and they have free access to their burrows, so they come in and out as they please right now. Once the breeding season is over, or once the chicks hatch, you'll start to see a little bit more of the birds, but that won't be until about mid-May. So I'm going to be answering some questions that I have, but I would love to come out and answer any to you once I'm done as well. All right, wet phone. Our social media team, aka Madeline, thank you, and Anita, are sending me questions, so that is why I'm looking at my phone. Are there any plans to transfer any of the penguins to other facilities this year? If so, which ones? At the moment, no. We are just working with our lovely colony, making sure all of our birds get everything they need. We also see some penguins pairing up now, but not wanting to assume or participate in AZA's SSP. Are they new favored pairings that we should look forward to? Thanks again. That kind of goes back to my explanation that Fisher and Roxy are doing well. They are not behind the scenes for medical reasons. They are paired up with in our new breeding space for them, and we have a hopeful future for them, and maybe we'll see some chicks in the coming years. And then everyone else, they kind of have a little bit of a higher desired rating, so we want the number to be a little bit closer to 1. Hello everyone, my name is Frankie. I am one of our penguin keepers here, and I'm doing an online and in-person chat where I'm answering some questions about breeding season. This is Wally in front of me, and I have Dee and Admiral on the beach as well, protecting their burrow. I wanted to take a moment to talk about a species survival plan. That is a word that can be a little bit misconstrued. Species survival plan. We're not saving the entire species of Magellanic penguins, but we are working towards the longevity of these genetics within zoos and aquariums. So Magellanic penguins are a part of a species survival plan, and basically there's a community of people that maintain their genetics, and they give every pair a rating, and sometimes they're siblings, so therefore they are undesirable, and sometimes they have never mixed up, and then they're kind of a 1. So we have some wild rescued birds, and those genetics aren't seen all over zoos and aquariums. Wally is so chatty right now. Hi, Wally. Another question I have here. Thank you, Madeline. Are the nest boxes and nesting material pre-treated or cleaned before breeding season? We do pre-treat everything that goes inside of their burrows. We spend a lot of time cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting all of the burrows. And then once we get their nesting material, we have some dry stall, which is like kitty litter for penguins and horses. And then we have sanitized palm fronds, where we actually have trees in the area that don't go through any sort of chemical treatment, so we're able to work with the city of Long Beach, and we clean them. We do lots of cleaning, many rounds of cleaning to make sure there's no fungus, bacteria, mold, and then we offer them to our penguins. We've tried many different types of nesting material over the seasons, and you know what? They just love palm fronds. I think Floyd, Admiral, and Fisher are currently our best nest makers. Hello, everyone. And with that being said, the other birds aren't that great, and that's okay. They don't need to be perfect nest makers. But I know Mattson likes to just touch everything. I think if Mattson had his own way, he would be using every possible thing on the planet to make his nest. So we have some other things we might offer, neoprene strips or grass plants, but he doesn't take them. He just likes to touch them all. Hi, everyone. My name is Frankie, and I'm an aviculturist here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and I'm doing a keeper chat in person and online. So I have some pre-asked questions that I'm answering about our breeding season. The number one question I get IRL is, where are all the penguins? It's breeding season, so they're inside their nest box. And when they're out of their boxes, they're usually protecting their space to make sure there's no intruders. But I have a couple more questions here. Let's see. How is Roxy? Roxy is doing wonderfully. We haven't seen any flare-ups this season of her chronic bumblefoot, which is a type of lesion that she received over the years. And she's doing all right, and she's behind the scenes with Mr. Fisher. We now have Miss Paddles out of her burrow. She's probably going to go back in soon, but she probably thinks I'm being too loud. But that's all right. Let's see. Sorry, wet phone. Are there penguins per species survival plan who are supposed to be paired? This year we're focusing now only on Roxy and Fisher. They are rated at a 1 in our species survival plan, which means they have their chick would have highly desirable genetics. Hello, everyone. My name is Frankie. I am a keeper here at the Aquarium of the Pacific doing a Q&A both online and in person. So you might see me looking at my phone, and that is because questions are being sent to me. Do any of the penguins have to move? No. Although that question, I'm not sure if you mean move to another facility or move behind the scenes. We spent the last 2 weeks really going through a couple of trial scenarios to make sure that every single one of our penguins could have a space. Hello, Paddles. Hello, Ludwig. Every single penguin can have a space for them. And finally, just yesterday, it all settled out. So just in time for this chat, we were able to kind of calm all of the high feelings that all of these penguins have. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our June Keys penguin habitat. All right. So I have a couple more questions from the explore.org comment section. If you are just joining us in person or online, thank you so much. My name is Frankie, and I'm one of our aviculturists here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. And we are talking about penguin breeding season. I've got a couple more questions that are being sent to me. Do penguins like the rain? I don't think they don't. I don't think they don't like it. I think the time of the year they are in their burrows a lot anyway. If they want to be wet, they can go jump in the water. Paddles is in the water. Ludwig is in the water, and it probably feels the same. But I'm sure they are waiting for the nice sunny days to sunbathe again. I think it just comes and goes, and it just is what it is. Next time Wally is chatty, can you give him the mic? Of course. I was hoping to do that earlier, but Wally only made one little sound. I am not gatekeeping Wally sounds, I promise. All right, so we did get a question about oyster shells, or sometimes we use coral sand. The females during breeding season tend to look for different sources of calcium because they are going to be creating an egg or two in their bodies, and they need to be able to supplement that. So in the wild, they might find different types of calcium. And here at the aquarium, although we're giving them as much fish with bones that has calcium, we just give them an extra supplement. So we put out oyster shells in front of each burrow and in the water. And we really see the most foraging in the water. So they will go, I think Paddles is actually doing that right now. They will go in the water and find little pieces. A lot of what you can see underwater is actually dry stall. There is coral sand in the water, oyster shells in the water. But sometimes the birds will kick out the dry stall from their burrows and it gets in the water, and we clean it as soon as we are in the pool the next time with our vacuum. So that mess you can sometimes see underwater is either dry stall from the burrows or oyster shells. And speaking of oyster shells, this is actually the time of year that we are on high alert for penguins ingesting other things, since the female penguins are looking for something in the water to ingest. If there are things like pennies or plastic or something for a female to take in, that's really dangerous. So we are not only looking out to make sure they are supplementing themselves, but we're also, like always, paying attention to our water column and making sure there's nothing those penguins can get to. Okay, let's see. So I only have a few more moments left, and the rain is getting a little bit harder. But if you're tuning in IRL in person, my name is Frankie. I'm an aviculturist here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and I work here with our 21 penguins. You may be questioning why there are only 5 penguins in your view, and that is because they are in breeding season. So these penguins will do whatever they want right now. Oh, there's 7 penguins. Sorry, Paddles and Ludwig, I forgot about you in the water. These birds will come in and out of their burrow as they please. And if they lay an egg, both parents will sit on the egg. And basically what happens is one parent will sit on the egg while the other parent forages in the water. In their natural habitat, that bird would be eating food, taking a bath, and then they switch. So then that parent goes and sits on the egg, and then the other parent is in the water eating. So if and when there's a chick, they actually do the same thing. One parent will raise the chick while the other one is out to sea, finding fuel and taking a bath. And that's kind of how they operate. Penguin chicks will grow very quickly. So their eggs are about the size of my palm, and they will grow to full size in 60 to 80 days. They don't look like an adult Magellanic penguin in those 60 to 80 days. It actually takes a whole year for that to happen. So they look like juveniles early on, but once they have gone through their very first catastrophic molt after 1 year, they will then look like an adult Magellanic penguin. Now, I kind of forgot to talk to you all a little bit about where these penguins are from. So they can be found off the coast of Chile and Argentina, meaning that they do not require snow or ice to survive. They have a very similar climate to what we have here in Long Beach, so we're able to have an outdoor habitat. But with that being said, we do have to worry about some diseases like malaria, West Nile, or other things that could come on by, like avian flu or Newcastle virus. And these are things that we pay really close attention to. So we give them some anti-malarial preventative medicine that they get every day or every other day, depending on the type of medicine they're on. And they get an annual West Nile vaccine, and that just helps them protect themselves from the mosquitoes that carry those diseases here. Where in South America, if the mosquitoes have that, they've kind of built up that immunity on their own. All right, I have a couple more questions I have one more question. Do the penguins have to receive medicine or other protection against the bird flu? That is a very current topic. There is an avian flu going all through the United States right now, and that's as these are birds and so are all the other birds here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. We are working to make sure that we have a contingency plan for anything that may happen if it gets near to Long Beach or our county or state, depending on how high of a risk that pathogen is. Hello everyone, my name is Frankie. I'm one of our penguin keepers, and I'm just wrapping up one of our online and in-person penguin chats. So if it sounds like I'm answering a question you didn't ask, that's because I am, but I will come on out and answer any questions that you may have. I'm just wrapping up my chat about breeding season, and my last question was about the avian flu that's coming through. So depending on how serious it is and how close it gets to us, we have different measures that we're taking. But right now we're being very cautious and very alert, as we have to be for any type of virus that comes through. I want to thank you all so much for asking questions and tuning in. I would love to report that we have a very healthy colony right now. We have one new pair, that is Roxy and Fisher. We have, well, I guess technically Floyd and Cleo are a new pair, because Cleo went to Floyd, and Wally has got his own burrow nowadays. There's a lot of fun happening here in our June Keys penguin habitat. We're spending a lot of time making sure that they are healthy and safe, and that the fights don't go too far, as they can be very territorial during this season. Thank you all so much for tuning in online and in person. I'm going to come out and see if you all have any questions for me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I think it's funny that it's raining on the day I'm using the microphone, but I'm really happy to be here and to answer questions, and hopefully we have a nice and smooth breeding season. And I think we'll be seeing behavioral changes maybe mid-May, early June. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.